because it's not. This is now Saturday morning, and I'm way behind schedule because I was up until gone midnight last night trying to work out why these drivers won't work. None of them. I don't know whether it's a bad batch or what, but they're useless. So, lucky for me, I have more on hand, but I have ordered this morning replacements. But I will build this now with these. These are, you know, sort of really overkill. But, you know, it's what I have on hand here. So I will continue now and show you how to wire up a driver and a stepper motor to the SMC controller. And I'll do a little bit of tuition, a little preliminary tuition of the SMC controller. Okay, so I'm going to strip this apart now, and I will rewire it, showing you stage by stage, okay, to make it easy. Okay, so we have our mains power cable connected in the correct location on the mains power input, and we have a dual core 15 amp cable connected to a positive and a negative. All right, red is always positive. Okay, now very important step. Okay, do not plug it in. Okay, if you notice on the front here it says 115 volt AC, 230 volt AC. That means this is a dual power supply, and there's a switch on the side here. You have to select that switch to suit your power requirements at your location. Okay, if you got this on the wrong setting, well, if you got it on 110 and you plug it into a 230 volt like in Australia, well, you're going to be sending for a new one of these because it'll just burn it out. So be very sure you select the correct voltage for your region. Okay, once you've done that, then you're set and you're safe. And also, when you've got these all wired in tight, clip that down so it gives you some protection. Okay, if you feel a little unsafe, put a bit of tape over this. Okay, and I wouldn't advise having any children around when you're, you know, doing this sort of job. Okay, so that's done. Now, while we're altering switches then, before we wire anything up, we're going to turn to the driver. I'm going to show you how to work out the dip switches on here. Okay? Now, they're fairly simple, and what I will do is I'll zoom right at the camera right in on this so you can see exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a bit of a pointer. I've got to get it in a certain place so I can see and you can see. Okay, so the first three switches, which are denoted by SW1, 2 and 3 on this chart, is here, SW1, 2 and 3. which are the first 3 dip switches here. Okay, so we're going to set them up, and they set the ampage output, the peak and run-in ampage. So in our case, we want a peak of 1.9 and run-in of 1.36 amps. Now that would be good for our little stepper motors, so it's going to be on, off, on. Okay. So that first one is on, that one's off, so this one's going to be set to on. So now that is set to the ampage that we require. Now the specification for maximum ampage of the stepper motors will be in the spec sheet of the stepper motor. Now then, we come to quite an important one, which is number 4. Now that one's separated out because SW4 in the off position will give you half current. Now for test purposes, that's what we will be using. So we will want that in the off position. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. He's off. Some of these are a little bit stiff to move. Okay. Now then, steps per revolution. We are going to set it at 2000 steps per revolution. Sorry if I'm a bit off camera there. And the setup for that is off, on, off. Okay? So it's off, on, off. Okay? So that's how to set the dip switches on the driver. Okay, so now comes the time to connect up the SMC controller. So first of all we're going to put power in. So positive lead into here, and this is going to be done up firm. I just use 2 fingers to do it up. Okay, don't go sort of heaving on the screwdriver because you'll strip the little screw. And negative. I got some 10 amp cable. It's one lead that's about 2 foot long, 2 colors. Now you'll see a word on here called we're going to go the x-axis, and we got pull and direction. Another word for this is step. So step and pull mean the same thing. Okay. So here we go. In the X, I'm electing to use, let's open that up a little bit first. I like to use the red colour for the step. Okay. So it's pull and direction. And then you'll need a, well, this is a fairly fine lead. There's no real heavy power on this. It's the 5-volt supply wire. We're talking milliamps here. And what you need to do, it's one length like that, then a short length or a loop like that. Okay, on the other end. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. So okay. At this particular time, that's all you should need. You shouldn't need a different ground. It should work fine just with this for test purposes. So that's all you need to connect onto the controller. Okay, so we're going to deal with the signal side first. If you remember, the red is the pull or step. So what we're going to do is have a look at the back of our driver, and we've got pull positive 5-volt, pull negative pull, then direction plus, then positive 5-volt, and direction minus direction. So what you do, you put this into the pull or step, goes into the pull minus here, which is this one. Okay. So I'm trying to keep this on camera for you and put it in at the same time, which I can manage. Okay. And the direction goes in that lower one there, which is the direction minus. Okay. So that is the pull or step and direction minus connected up. So then we get our little 5-volt power supply lead. Now it's got a loop on it, because what you need to do is supply 5-volt to that top one and that middle one there. So that goes in there. And this one goes in here. Second. Okay, so that is the signal side of this sorted. So now we're going to connect up the stepper motor with these 4 leads. The first pair we require are blue and red. And I showed you earlier about if you join 2 wires together and the motor's difficult to turn, then you know that's one coil. So the first lead in here in B minus is blue. red. That goes in the A minus. Then black. And the last two wires to be connected is the positive and negative power supply. And they go in this top pair here. And you can see the symbol for ground or negative, and this is the volt positive. So those two go in there like that. So that is now all the connections done. Upon turning your SMC controller on, it will look something like this written in Chinese. Don't panic. I'm going to show you what to do to change it to English. Now, you catch hold of your selection button here, and you see you can move this around. Okay, and select different windows. Well, the window you require is the second one there. Then press down on this button or selector, which will take you to another window, and then come up here to English and press again. Voila! You are now English. Now press on exit, and now it's entirely English. And you will also find that the reset is flashing. Now, to take that off, you can do it two ways. You can either move the select down and then press this, or a quick way to do it is this button here with the cross with the dots on it. Press that, and it sets the reset off. Now then, what you need to do is go into Machine, press, and then turn in the selection wheel all the way till you get to Motor Set. Now, this is preset in this controller. But you can alter every one of these if you wish. So that they have set in the X, Y, Z, A, and the fifth axis. For the steps per 320, it's a good start. You are not calibrating the motor. All we want to do is send it a signal to make sure it runs, and to make sure that the circuit is correct prior to building into our box. Velocity 3000, it's okay. It's probably, the motor's probably going to run a little fast. Acceleration 200, that's pretty fair as well. So this is telling us that okay, it's set for to put out a signal, but it's not going to be perfect for our setup, but it will operate the motors. So we're going to exit out of that and exit out of that. So now the big test. We've got a green light on our driver. Now I'll zoom you out a little. Okay, so we've got a green light on our driver. If I push the reset, take reset off, there we go. In actual fact, this is running pretty well right. I can tell by the speed. So that is how to connect up these little stepper motors and a fairly standard driver and the SMC to test to see whether, you know, the SMC is working fine, your wiring is connected up okay, and also that it works. So there you go. It all works. Oh, I don't do well with late nights at all. I feel like going in and going to bed now. And it's only, I think, midday. But there you go. You know, these builds seldom go to the numbers. When I say that, seldom go without a hitch. You know, whatever you do with these sort of builds, you know, you're working something out, something doesn't work quite right, and you got to play around with it to, you know, get it to be right. And that is, you know, part of doing this sort of build. You know, you're dealing with technologies here that were, you know, rocket science in the 60s, really. You know, and you're doing it in your own shop at home. So, you know, SMC controller and all this stuff all works, and now I can safely build it all into that box. I think it'd be pretty boring for me to actually video me building everything into that box. It's very, very time consuming. Maybe you know, maybe I'll do a short video of actually building it, but yeah, I think you get the gist of it now. Of, you know, and this is the way I would advise you to do your build too, is just connect one motor up with one driver, the power supply, and the SMC. Get it working first, okay? And then build it into your box, okay? Because if something doesn't work, okay, you know the controller's fine, and so it's something that you've probably done not right. And one thing I would do as well is the earth of this I would put to the board that you know, or the frame that you build these onto, because I have had builds in the past, and for whatever reason, if you don't have this connected to earth to the chassis of the drivers, sometimes they can creep on you. You know, it could be a leak, electronic leak I'm talking about. Sometimes it does happen. So to avoid any of that, okay, we'll put an earth on, and I'll show you how I do that as well. So I'm pretty pleased now I got this going, and that I can show you as well. And I'm going to spend the next few days now building it into that box, and hopefully we'll be able to cut something. Okay, so thank you for joining me for this build so far, and yeah, patrons, if you've got any questions, just send it through in the normal manner, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I'll probably put a little wiring diagram up of this as well, with the colours and everything. to help you. So talking about patrons, if you'd like to become a patron to this channel, it is the patrons behind this channel that you know, keeps it going. And I'd like to, you know, thank everybody very, very much for being there and allowing me to do this type of thing. And if you've liked the video, like, subscribe, and well, pop in and have a look at some more of my videos, and I'll see you again on the next video. So it's bye.